Hello, my friends. It is so good to be with you again. Pull up a chair, get comfortable, and let your mind travel with me to a different time, a different place, and a story that has touched hearts for thousands of years. Imagine this. You are standing in a dusty courtyard. The sun is hot on your skin. You see an old man, a father, standing tall but looking tired. He has worked his whole life to build something good. Now, his youngest son stands before him. This son is young, strong, and handsome. But his eyes are cold. He looks at his father and says, "Father, give me my share of the property. Give it to me now." Now, in that culture, this was a terrible thing to say. It was like saying, "I wish you were dead. I do not want to wait for you to die. I want what is yours, and I want to leave." The father could have shouted at him. He could have sent him away with nothing. He could have said, "You are no son of mine." But he didn't. The father looked at this selfish, angry boy. He looked at the son who was breaking his heart, and he agreed. He divided everything he owned. He gave the young man his portion. He watched his son take bags of gold, pack his bags, and walk away down the long, dusty road. He watched his son leave without looking back. If you are finding value in these stories and they are helping you on your English journey, it would mean the world to me if you would subscribe to Learn English with the Bible. Just click that button below. It tells me you want more stories, and it helps me create them for you. Thank you. Now, let us go with that young man down that road. The younger son left with a heavy bag of money and a light heart. He thought he was free. He was finally free from his father's rules, free from the boring work on the farm, free from watching his older brother always do the right thing. He traveled to a faraway country, a distant land, a place where no one knew his name and no one knew his family. And in that new place, he began to live a new life. The Bible says he squandered his money. To squander means to waste it all on foolish things. What did he spend it on? Wild parties, expensive food, new friends who laughed at all his jokes. He probably bought drinks for everyone. He was popular. Everyone loved him. He was the rich young man from a foreign land. Life was one long holiday. But money, when you spend it recklessly, runs out fast. It flows away like water through your fingers. And when the money was completely gone, something else happened. A famine came to that country. A famine is a terrible time when there is no rain, and the crops cannot grow. Food becomes very, very scarce. First, the nice restaurants closed, then the markets became empty. Then, people started to go hungry. And where were all his new friends? They were gone, vanished. They loved his parties, but they did not love him. When the money stopped, the friendship stopped. The young man was alone. He was hungry. He had no money. He had no home. He had no one. He was in such great need that he went to a farmer who lived there. The farmer gave him a job. It was the worst job imaginable. The farmer sent him into the fields to feed the pigs. Now, for the young man who was Jewish, this was the lowest point a person could reach. In his religion, pigs were unclean animals. You did not eat them. You did not touch them. You did not go near them. Now he was living with them. He smelled like them. He was so hungry that he wanted to eat the food he was giving to the pigs. They ate pods, which were like large beans. He looked at the pigs eating, and his stomach hurt with hunger. And no one gave him anything. Not a single person. Can you imagine the shame? Can you imagine sitting in the mud surrounded by pigs, hungry, dirty, and alone? He had left his father's house with gold in his pocket. Now he had nothing. He had hit rock bottom. And then something beautiful happened. The Bible says he came to his senses. It was like he woke up from a bad dream. He started to think clearly for the first time in months. He thought about his father's house. He remembered the servants. The servants were the men and women who worked for his father, and he remembered that even the lowest servants in his father's house had plenty to eat. They had food to spare. Spare means extra. They had more than enough. He said to himself, "Here I am, starving to death. But my father's servants have all the food they want. I will get up. I will go back to my father. I will say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I have done a terrible wrong. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. I do not deserve to be your child. Just make me like one of your hired servants. Let me work for you. Let me earn my food.'" So he got up. He stood up from the mud. He left the pigs, and he began the long journey home. He walked for miles. His clothes were now just rags. His feet were cut and bleeding. He was thin and weak. Every step was difficult. And with every step, his heart was probably filled with fear. What would his father say? Would his father turn him away at the gate? Would his father shout at him? Would his brother laugh at him? He had a plan. He would beg to be a servant. It was the best he could hope for. He was still a long way from the house. He was just a small figure on the horizon. But while he was still far off, his father saw him. How did the father see him? Because the father had been watching. Day after day the father had looked down that same road. He had hoped. He had waited. He had never given up on his boy. And then, one day, he saw that familiar shape. The father did not wait for his son to arrive. He did not stand tall and proud. He did something shocking. The Bible says he ran. In that culture, a wealthy older man did not run. It was undignified. It was embarrassing. It was not what respectable people did. But this father did not care about respect. He did not care about his dignity. He only saw his son. He lifted up his long robes and he ran. He ran as fast as his old legs could carry him. He reached his son, and before the son could even speak, the father threw his arms around his neck. He hugged him. He held him tight. The son probably smelled like pigs and dirt and the long road. The father did not care. He kissed him. The son began his speech. He said, "Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son." But the father stopped him. He did not let him finish. He did not let him ask to be a servant. He turned to his own servants who had followed him, and he started shouting orders. "Quick," he said, "bring the best robe and put it on him." A robe is a long, beautiful garment. Put the finest robe on my son. Put a ring on his finger. A ring is a symbol of authority and family. It means he belongs here. Put sandals on his feet. Sandals are shoes. Servants go barefoot. Sons wear shoes. He is not a servant. He is my son. Then the father gave the greatest order of all. "Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let us have a feast and celebrate." A fattened calf was the best meat they had. They saved it for the most important day of the year, or for a wedding. It was a huge, expensive celebration meal. And the father gave the reason, a reason that fills this story with hope. He said, "For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." The son had been dead to the family, dead to love, dead to relationship, but now he was breathing again. He was home. He was alive. And so the party began. The music started. The dancing started. Laughter filled the house. The young man was home. But the story is not over. Out in the field, the older brother was coming home from a long day of work. He was responsible. He had stayed. He had done his duty. As he got close to the house, he heard music and dancing. He was confused. He called one of the servants and asked, "What is happening?" The servant said, "Your brother has come home, and your father has killed the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound." The older brother was furious. He was filled with anger. He refused to go inside. He would not join the party. He would not welcome his brother home. So the father did something beautiful again. Just as he had run to the younger son, he now came outside to the older son. He left the party to find his angry boy standing alone in the darkness, the dark. He pleaded with him. "My son," he said gently, "come inside, join us." But the older brother was too angry. He said, "Look, all these years I have worked for you like a slave. I have never disobeyed you. But you never gave me even a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours comes back, the one who wasted your money on wild living, you kill the fattened calf for him." Can you feel his pain? He had done everything right. He had stayed. He had worked. And he felt unseen. He felt unloved. The father looked at him with love. He said, "My son, you are always with me. Everything I have is yours. You have me every single day." But we had to celebrate. We had to be happy, because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And that is where Jesus leaves the story. He does not tell us if the older brother went inside. He leaves the ending open. The choice was his, and the choice is ours. So, what is the deep insight here? What is the truth that reaches across thousands of years and touches us today? The insight is this: love does not wait for you to clean yourself up. The younger son thought he had to earn his way back. He had a speech prepared. He had a plan to become a servant. But the father ran to him while he was still a long way off. The father saw him, not as he was in that moment, dirty and broken, but as who he had always been, his son. The love was never gone. It was only waiting. The younger son represents the person who makes huge mistakes, who hits rock bottom, and who fears they have gone too far to come home. The father's love says, "You have not gone too far. You are never too far." The older son represents something else. He represents the person who does everything right, who follows the rules but whose heart has become hard. He stayed home, but he was lost too. He was lost in his anger, lost in his jealousy, lost in his feeling of being unappreciated. The father went out to him too. The father's love says, "Your obedience is valuable, but do not let it close your heart. Come in, celebrate, forgive." And at the very center of it all is the Father. A picture of a love that does not keep score, a love that runs, a love that hugs before the apology is finished, a love that throws a party for the broken and pleads with the angry. The deepest lesson is that we are all lost in different ways. Some of us run away with our rebellion, some of us stay home with our resentment. But the invitation is the same for both. The Father is running toward you. The question is not, will he accept me? The question is, will I come inside? Thank you for spending this time with me today, my friends. I truly appreciate you. If this story touched your heart or helped your English here, please hit that like button and subscribe to Learn English with the Bible so we can continue this journey together. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Which person in this story do you understand the most right now? Is it the younger son who made mistakes, the older son who feels angry, or the father who just wants everyone to come home? Let me know. Until our next story together, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and remember, you are always welcome home. Goodbye for now.